Hello, everyone, and welcome to 30 Days Strong. I'm Shaman Durek, and we are on day 20. Oh, day 20. And I know for a fact that you are getting some amazing shamanic tools to up level your life, to shift and lift you, and to illuminate and radiate your truth from your being. There is nothing greater in the whole world than to see all of you and read your letters and your experiences of the techniques and the energies and the profound transformations that are taking place in your life. And I am absolutely so happy from the core of my soul. I am so excited by all the love and all the joy and all the energy that you all are exuding into this world right now from your 30 Day Strong training and really leveling up your life in the most beautiful and magnificent way. This is literally transformational love. I'm like so beyond excited to share with more with you for these days of 30 Days Strong. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being a powerful leader and to showing up with yourself every day in every way, nurturing yourself and telling yourself beautiful words that inspire you and delight you to be the most powerful and amazing being. Your gift and contribution to the world by loving yourself and nurturing yourself and eating healthy and saying beautiful words to yourself is beyond the greatest gift you could ever give to any being, any species, any planet, to any animal and to any plant on the solar system, throughout the solar system and on this planet. You see, every time you honor yourself and give to yourself and nurture yourself and love yourself, you are giving back to all of us. And I just want you to know how beautiful that is. Every time you level up, acknowledge yourself, and tell yourself beautiful things, you are giving back to all of us. And I am so grateful and I am so thankful for your contribution of love to this planet and to all of us within our species. It is a great honor, a great, great honor to be able to support you and love you. This is the opportune time in life for us to level ourselves up and create a crescendo, a wave of transformation and healing and grace and beauty. So I love you so much. Seems that we are having some difficulty. Is that correct? I love you so much. Can everyone see me? Because I know we've been having some disturbances. Can everyone see me where you are? Okay. So you all can see me on Apple Television. Can everyone see me on Instagram? Okay, fantastic. Yes, that's wonderful. So I just want to thank you all for showing up for the world and for yourselves because every time you love and nurture yourself, you're doing it for everyone. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for your love and contribution to this planet by acknowledging you. Isn't that wonderful? A lot of times people are wondering, how do I support the world? How can I make things different for everyone? Well, you make things different by acknowledging and loving yourself because it starts here. When you create the foundation here, anything you build upon this foundation just expands and grows and becomes this magnificent temple of light that beams across the whole entire universe and our planet and touches the heart of those who have not yet waken up to their divinity, who have not waken up to the value of who they are and why they were created. and have not claimed an honoring of themselves in their words and their actions towards themselves and others. And when you are stepping into that space and you are honoring that space, you have the ability to transform every type of energy back into the frequency of love. So, I just want to smile a little bit just to acknowledge all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being on the planet. Thank you so much. So, I am so excited that we are at day 20 on 30 Days Strong. We have more training and remembrances to go to. Now, remember, your training is not a training, it's a remembrance, okay? So you already know this information, you're just remembering it. So when you hear me say training or any of these things, I'm going to repeat and say remembrance so that you know that training means you're just remembering. All I'm doing is throwing things in front of you, right? Iceland. Fernik hefur þú það, elska. So when we, that's Icelandic, by the way, when we are acknowledging the remembering, right? The process of remembering is to be taken with grace. Merhaba, nasılsın? And that's Turkish. And so be taken with grace. And when we take something with grace, that means we don't beat up on ourselves. We don't get into a space where we limit ourselves from the experience of that remembrance, right? We need to be gentle with ourselves in this process. We have to look at it as being kind and loving ourselves into transformation, not hammering ourselves or getting upset with ourselves if something doesn't work or you don't feel something. Okay? The process of feeling and connecting is the same training that a Jedi trains in when you think about Star Wars. Shamanism is very close to Jedi training. So let me give you an example of what I mean. So, for instance, a lot of times when people are learning spiritual remembrances and knowledges from other teachers and other people who are out there sharing knowledge with the world, okay? The one thing that we acknowledge in shamanism is that you have to think of yourself like you're standing in a field of grass. You're looking at a mountain with a monk next to you. And you're just gazing everly so softly at the mountain and the waterfall or whatever it is that is majestic in your environment. So when we use our powers, it is not a force, okay? The force that we talk about, I was talking to my friend the other day, is the energy inside of us that emanates through everything, the trees, the flowers, the wind, the sun, the moon, the earth, the soil, your cells, everything holds this energy that you see in Star Wars that they call the Force. The Force is real. And the reason why the spirits wanted Star Wars to be a part of our experience on Earth, along with some of the other amazing films that have been downloaded into the minds of people to create and bring to cinema, is because Spirit wants you to know that these things are real. The force, or should we say the energy source, the source of energy, is living in everything. But it doesn't come out because you force it out. And it doesn't come out because you hammer it out, or you get mad at yourself, or you get frustrated, or annoyed, or you tell yourself you're not good enough, or you're not this, or you're not that. The force of that energy, that pure frequency that can be used for either the light or the dark, depending upon who's wielding it at what time and what is their consciousness, is creation's emanating light. So let me explain to you. Whenever I train people in shamanism, the first thing I like to remind them of is that this is not a beat yourself up, get mad at yourself for you to gain your powers and your abilities. In fact, I can't tell you how many students over the years that I've taken on who I had to let go because I had to let them know they're not ready at this point to really understand the depths of shamanism because they are so caught up in the need to get somewhere or to force something to happen or to make something happen. That is not at all shamanism. Shamanism is literally like being at the ocean and the waves crash and you just look and you just breathe and you feel your shoulders relax, your spine is relaxed, your stomach is relaxed, your chest is relaxed, your hands are relaxed, your legs are relaxed, your breath is deep and relaxed, and that allows you to connect into the force or the energy that emanates from the creator that allows you to use magic and manifest and move energies and be a powerful healer or do anything else you'd like to do with it, such as be creative or become the next Einstein or the next genius on our planet. The energy comes from grace. It comes from relaxing into it with a wonderful feeling as if everything is perfect exactly the way it is. And it is in that, ooh, just now I felt chills move through my body. Just in that space is where you will feel the force of energy. And that's where your ancestors are. And that is where the spirits lie. That is where they are. That is how you connect into all of the multidimensional aspects of yourself and energy and magic and ancient magic and all of these things. It is when you get out of this need to do and be and prove. The act of proving is an act of fear. To prove something means you're afraid. It means that you have an insecurity, which is governed by fear, which is an anchor to the darkness. It is not through anger and frustration, because anger and frustration is disappointment, which means you fear. You are in lack and limitation with yourself. It is important for me to share this with you for your remembrance, that ease and grace is truly the pace. And in order for me to truly teach you shamanism, you have to ease up on yourself. You have to be free like a child. You have to let go as much as you can. And the more you let go and the more vulnerable you are, the more powerful you are. Now, to letting go, right? It is literally the aspect of just seeing yourself in that field of grass and you're at peace. And when you go deeper into that peace, you will feel the vibrations of energy. It may feel like your hair stands up on the end, or you get a little chill, or you get a heat sensation, or you get a vibration or a flutter. This is the energy of the force. And this is how we connect in shamanism. Whenever I train students, I train them in this way. When they really want to become powerful in their own right, it is to teach them true surrender, vulnerability, humbleness, and humility. It is the understanding of the hermit. It is the understanding of the wise man or woman who does not need to prove anything to anyone. Jesus didn't have to prove anything. Jesus just was. Teachers just are in the stories you hear about Lord Krishna and stories of Muhammad and Fatma and stories that inspire us to be greater. These stories, these understandings are about grace. When we talk about the old texture, the old books and the old scriptures and so forth, they didn't do it by force. It is not by force. It is literally by allowance. Good. So, very important for you to understand, to be gentle with yourself, because I've been getting letters from people who are like, I'm doing this, and they're getting frustrated. And that is not the key to shamanism. Frustration has no place in shamanism or in anything that I share with you for your remembrance. The moment you go into frustration, You're creating expectation. Expectation arrives out of fear. There cannot be fear in what you are experiencing for your remembrance. Good. So we must always be open and remember that we are one with the trees and the flowers and everything around us. We don't analyze the spirit world. We don't go in like a private eye or a detective. We go in with a grateful, loving, nurturing, open, unconditional heart to discover and to allow. So when I speak to spirits, the reason why I can hear them so clearly and see them so defined and be able to see them actually walk across the floor and talk to me is because I am not coming in as an aggressor. If you ever go to the jungle and you want to see the animals in the jungle, you don't go into the jungle, trekking into the jungle, slashing around your knife to cut the leaves out of the way and making noise and doing all of these things. You will see absolutely nothing. I don't care if you're taking your machete and going through, you will see nothing. And the reason why you will see nothing is because you are an aggressive energy. Nature responds to gentleness. It responds to grace, and it responds to respect. When you go to the jungle or you're in any place where you want to connect in that space, in the jungle, you lay down on the ground and close your eyes and slowly breathe and open them, and you will see all the animals watching you. You see, animals know a lot about us. They know that we are an aggressive species. We come in, we take what we want, we do what we want. We don't care if we turn the soil upside down. We don't care for the rooting system or the natural process of how nature operates in its way of maintaining life. We don't pay attention to our imprint in the things that we are doing. We just do them to benefit ourselves so that we can have a much more cushy life. We don't realize that the extremities and the things that we are doing by this aggressive nature. And that is not the way of a shaman. A shaman is like Moses was. Moses was an amazing shaman, trained by Jethro, who had the daughter Zipporah, who Moses fell in love with. He was a person who watched over the sheep. That's how gentle you have to be. You have to just watch over the sheep and breathe and lay on your stick and observe, and you will see everything. The spirit world will make itself known to you. So I encourage you for the next days of our 30 Days Strong, whenever I share a technique with you that is for your remembrance, I encourage you to come to it with a humble heart, with grace and with kindness and with respect for the nature of what you are remembering is not to be done in an aggressive, forceful, agitated, frustrated, if it doesn't support right away, to come in a loving, nurturing way. If you've ever trained with shamans, you will see the shaman's nature is to be at peace with its surroundings. That is what I need you to be when you are learning and remembering these beautiful abilities. I love you so much. So for today's 30 Days Strong, we are going to learn and remember how to connect with the spirit world and understanding the frequency flow. Now, you're probably asking, Commenter, what is a frequency flow? Well, I'll explain to you. A frequency flow means that there are different levels of energy that penetrate into the human body at a precise place that allows you to gain the highest connection to the flow that allows you to connect into everything in all dimensions. A lot of times, if you have watched old films like cartoons and so forth, You would see like an angel on the shoulder of this cartoon character and like the little devil with the fork on the other side. Well, it's really funny because that came from ancient understanding of shamanism. Frequency flow that moves through your body literally is a connecting energy source that moves through the parallels and dimensions of your being and connects into one aspect of your being. Now, what that means is in shamanism, we live between life and death. We don't put our energies into either or. We live in the center. And we know that the center is the place where the energy is most strong from these energies of death and life. In the frequency of the body, the energy of the source and the light of the beings of light and the higher beings that we talk about, that people talk about in their conversations, right? Which are basically, is, if you want to call it higher, it's your choice. But let's just call it, I call it the council members and the beings who are here to love you on your journey, operate on the right side of your body. The realm of the underworld operates on your left side of your body. So when we are connecting to spirit, we always in shamanism need to make sure that when we are communicating to spirit, we always acknowledge whom we're speaking with. Now, out of respect for the spirit world, let me give you an example of how human beings operate in their aggressive nature when dealing with the gentle flow of the spirit world, which is the force or the source energy that you see when Jedis are training in Star Wars, which is very similar to the training in shamanism. Let me give you an example of what most human beings do when activating this energy. They'll say, "Spirit guides, are you here?" And I'll ask, "Do you hear anything?" They'll say, "No, I don't hear anything. I think I'm making it up." I said, "Did you hear something?" "Well, yeah, I heard yes, but is that me making it up?" Okay. First key. Okay. The fact that you are actually making an address, like you're sending a letter or you're picking up a phone and you're asking the spirits, are they there? And your response is you're making it up, shows great disrespect. Whenever I see my students do that, I give them a couple times to come into correction of the respect that they need to have, the reverence, the humbleness, and the humility. It is so disrespectful to ask a spirit if they're there and then they say something to you and you choose to say that you're making it up when you have no proof or facts that you are making it up. You're just deciding that whatever you go in your head, whatever voice you have in your head must be yours and it's only yours, and that this brain and this skull is contained from any frequencies of energy, any patterns of elocutions, of tones, and all these different things that we're picking up on, that this brain and this head is yours, and that nothing or anything could speak through your consciousness, only you. And if it's you, you're making it up. That is considered disrespect amongst the spirit world. And what they usually do is wait and love you unconditionally until you pull it together with your disrespectful nature. Okay? There's no judgment, there's only unconditional love. So we love you, you get loved, you're loved through the whole process. It is you who is making it difficult for yourself because it is you who does not want to fully take your oars out of the canoe and trust in the river, that the source and the spirit of the river and the spirit of the trees and the spirit of the mountain will guide your canoe to where it needs to be. So again, when you are operating in any aspect of the spiritual nature and you operate from a field of utilizing your intelligence as a weapon into the spirit world through analyzing, through going in like a private eye to see if it's real or not, you will be completely, the doors will close with love and wait for you to gain some humbleness, some humility, respect, and grace. Now, I can't begin to tell you how important this is for your shamanic training, which is your remembrance. Everything in life that we have done up until now as human beings has been very aggressive to the planet, aggressive to the animals, aggressive to the waters, aggressive to the air, and aggressive to our bodies. I can't begin to tell you how aggressive we have been. Grace, humbleness, humility, openness, allowance is the key fundamentals to accessing the source or the force for those who love Star Wars. Okay? So, a technique that I came up with that I thought would be easier for my students to be able to connect, I call it, the technique is for you to be able to learn to hold frequency. Now, the reason why I created this technique, because I sat and spoke to the elders, and the elders told me if you teach them the way that you were taught, it can take a longer time for them to trust and to connect with us. So I came up with a hack, a simplification of shamanism in the most easiest and efficient way for you to be able to connect, learn, which is remembrance, into your power. I always like making things that are so difficult and making them easy. Okay, so, and the reason why I do this is because I know who you are and I know how powerful you are. And I know that you will be able to access this information if I make it simpler so that you can understand it. So take your finger and stick it on your temple, which is here, okay, right there. When you stick your finger on your temple, okay, you are going to ask the spirits. Spirits of the light, are you with me? Now, before you go, okay, nothing's happening, and get real aggressive, stay calm. I haven't put this level in the book because the book was brought through mainstream and I had to give people baby steps into shamanism. But I assure you, all of the other books will be getting a little bit more in depth. Okay, so here, what you're going to do is practice this technique. It's always on your right side. It does matter what side it is. This is the side of the underworld. This is the side of the beings are speaking to the light and the consciousness of the council members. Okay. Now, who are the council members? Well, the council members, because they asked me this on the TV show Doctors that I go on. And the Dr. Travis asked me, so who are these council members that you're speaking to? The council members are beings, elected beings, who've been supporting everything in our dimension. Now, if, say, for instance, you have a business situation, you can ask the council, can they send you a business spirit or guide who assists you on dealing with business, okay? They can bring any type of being or guide to support you depending upon your needs that you address to the council. And we will get into that in other remembrance trainings, okay? But for now, when you ask the question, you're gonna do it like this. Watch. This is how I teach my students and my young students, not just my elderly students, my kids who are 6 and 7 years old, practice this technique. Spirits of the light, great council, are you with me? And you look at your finger to get the answer. When you hear the answer, you say, thank you, I heard you. Now, council members, can you send me, and you're going to go through this technique with grace and love. First one is kinesthetic. Can you send a feeling into my body? Council members, can you send a sensation into my body? Thank you, I felt that. Now, the sensation could be a twinge on your shoulder, a chill, a hot sensation. Any sensation you feel after asking that question is them. Don't go, oh, well, my shoulder's itchy, because that's disrespectful. And that is not the way that we communicate to the spirits. Okay? So, again, your finger is to hold the energy so you stay on this frequency that is always here, always present, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because you live in a biological spacesuit, and we have what is called a mirroring effect of energy that moves through what we call transference energy, which moves in this kind of way. It ends up on this side of your body, and the underworld is on this side. And so when you ask the question, can you show me a visual? Okay, and all of a sudden I see everyone smiling with their arms open. So I would say, thank you, I saw that. Can you say something beautiful to me about myself? You're such a loving and graceful being. Thank you, I heard you. Now, the reason why I designed this technique to say, thank you, I felt that. Thank you, I heard you. Thank you, I saw that, is because every time you do that, you are registering your conscious mind to merge with the spiritual experience. The more you bring your attention, which creates intention, to the spiritual experience, the stronger you become. This is literally the easiest and simple way that I've taken my training as a kid in learning shamanism from my bloodline and my family, which was much more challenging and much more difficult, if you ask me, to simplifying it for everyone in the Western world and in today's culture, so that they don't have to go through 6-7 years of grueling, uncomfortable, back and forth. Did I hear them? Is it working? Da 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 da. To simplification. That is the reason why I simplify things. Okay? That's why I call them spirit hacks. I'm simplifying it, which was, of course, something that Dave Asprey, my brother, thought was very interesting, that he wanted me to start acknowledging. But they're spirit hacks. I'm hacking the spirit world for you to be able to get it in a short amount of time, to begin to utilize your skills of remembrance and power in this world. Now, you're going to practice this technique, okay? And you're always, when you hear anything that pops up, you say, thank you, I heard that. Now, you want to keep your eyes looking this way when you go to listen. Look at me. Ask question, look this way. Ask questions, look at the finger, okay? Now, if you want to communicate to the underworld, spirits in the underworld, can you hear me? They said, of course we can. We always hear you. This is how they like to sometimes talk to me. They're hilarious. What do you think about me sharing this information with everyone in the tribe? We can't stand it. You're giving away our secrets. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they say to you. The only reason why I speak to the underworld is because I like to know what they're up to. That's how I knew to write the book Spirit Hacking before 2020, because I heard what they're up to. So this is very important, my darlings, to remember that a true being who is, when you hear people say this very love and light, and I'm a healer, and I'm a this, and I'm a that. Well, if you are these things, you have no problem interfacing with the underworld spirits, because they're your brothers and sisters too. They're trapped in fear, and they can't accept what they did when they were living. And so that's the reason why they speak into people's minds, to feed off their life source once you use your free will to change it into darkness through fear, lack, limitation, anger, discord, you name it. Anything that makes you go down is because you're feeding them, okay? You're feeding them. So if you are a person who's been constantly exposed to negativity, most people tune their energy into this side when they think about life. They'll go, like, I'll watch people at the dinner table. They'll be talking to me and be like, yeah, Derek, but I just don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, because it just sounds too, I don't know, just a little bit too off, And the whole time they're looking to their left. I'm like, okay. I'm like, and how do you have this information? Where did you get this governing information of that it's too off? I just feel that way. I just feel like, you say these things, but I just don't believe you. And great, because I know who you're listening to, right? Because your eyes are to the left, you're focusing your mind to the left. I can see the energy moving this way, which tells me directly who you're talking to. So whenever someone gets angry, watch where their eyes go. If they're like this, they're listening to the underworld spirits just gabber on and tell them all kinds of horrible things about you and themselves and why everyone's against them and how they should be more angry and that no one cares about them, just like feeding them just a bunch of nonsense. Okay? So I always say, if you want to practice this technique, okay, make sure you follow the guidelines of AVK. AVK, audio, visual, and kinesthetic. The ability to hear, the ability to see, and the ability to feel. And remember, when you do this, it is calm. It is grace. It is gaze. It is not force or aggression or private eye or analyzation. And I'll explain to you, because there's a lot of people who will say, well, why can't I analyze it? How do I know it's real if I can't analyze it? Well, you have to learn faith and trust in the spirit world. And secondly, you have to understand that analyzing information with information you've already been given is like itsy bitsy teeny weeny knowledge to the spirit world. Because the spiritual technology in the spirit world is so vast, so huge, so gigantic. It literally requires you, if you read the book Spirit Hacking that I wrote, in the book, I talk about us being giants, okay? Because the spirit world is so big, you are a giant there. You literally look like a giant to yourself if you were to look at yourself from there. And if you looked at from yourself from there to here, you look like this itty bitty tiny little being, okay? Because it's so giant. Your information here on Earth is itty bitty, right? And that means it cannot reference the unknown or the spirit world. It just cannot. And the idea that you think it can is hilarious, because that is the reason why people don't connect, because they're trying to utilize this to this huge, vast, expansive technology that is like, huh? You're analyzing us with this human information? Go into your spirit acceptance allowance, and you will see something greater and bigger when you look from your giant eyes, not from your itty bitty teeny weeny itty bitty bitty. So oh my darlings, oh my darlings, my darlings, my darlings, my darlings. So again, finger to your temple, ask the questions to the Great Council, ask for them, start off practicing, send me a feeling, send me a visual, send me a word or a sentence, tell me something that is getting in the way in my life that I'm not seeing, okay? And then practice speaking to the underworld spirits. So why are you beings in the underworld to begin with? Why don't you just go home to the light? Why are you affecting the people on earth? What is it that you wish to achieve? And learn to listen. And when you hear them speak, say, thank you, I heard you. Respect. When they show you a visual, thank you, I saw that. Respect. And when they send a feeling in your body and you feel it, say, thank you, I felt that. And what I encourage you all to do is to find out which one of your AVKs is the strongest. And I encourage you to notice which one is the strongest. Do you listen, or do you get a ringing in the ear from time to time because the spirits want you to listen more and you think you might have some kind of ear infection when in fact you don't? Do you get sensations in your body, like chills up the back of your spine because spirit wants you to feel more? Do you get visuals of things that you don't understand because spirit wants you to see more? That's a good one to think about. And I encourage you to find out which one is strongest. Are you more audio? Are you more visual? And are you more kinesthetic? And the one that is the, let's say, the weakest link, which is really basically that needs to be elevated and amplified, I want you to ask spirit to open that up even more. Oh, it's so wonderful teaching you shamanism. And it's so wonderful to see how powerful each and every one of you are. I honor you and I love you. And I know that you are so powerful and amazing. And that's why you're here, especially at this time. I just want to thank you all so much. A more loving, amplified place of joy and celebration. I can tell you one thing. If you want to do it, dance for prosperity, dance for love, so many things you can do. I love you so much, and I am honored by your presence on this planet. I will see you tomorrow for day 21 of 30 Days Strong. And if you like the things that you hear, please go check out my podcast at Ancient Wisdom Today and get on the lit train and level up your life for success, for joy, for harmony, for beauty, and for global transformation. I love you. And if you need to see any of these videos, you can go to KNEKT.TV for a recap on Apple TV and Roku. I love you so much, and I thank you. Bye.